say that there's 4 to 5 children here in this family.
3.
Is there also 2 grandchildren as well, please?
Yeah.
That would give 5. They keep me right up there.
Yeah.
Would you accept and understand that when I speak with Father here, that he would say that he would like to give an apology over?
Yeah, I get that.
And the reason he would like to give the apology over for, he tells me he didn't always treat you right.
Yeah.
He at times sometimes did single children out. Would you understand that?
Yeah.
Because I said, oh, I says that's a bit vague, that I want a bit more of it. When I asked him there for an example, he showed me a connection to where your dad, sometimes people would walk into a room and dad would just get up, fold the paper, put it on the floor and walk out. Can you understand and accept that? And you stood looking, going, well, what have I done? What's going on? Like, what's happening here? With Mum, would you accept that when you were in Mum, with Mum at the end, because I know Mum was in it, my Mum's showing me a room, can you understand this? There's a hospital connection with Mum as well as what I'm being told here, alright? Would you accept that Mum was also upstairs, she's taking me upstairs into the hospital? Would that make sense? Thank you. I want to be on the 4th floor as well, would that also make sense?
Yeah.
I want to say as well, I need to come along the corridor a little bit as well, because I feel like I've gone from one end of the hospital to the other, and it seems like it walks forever and forever and ever and ever. And I want to say, when I get there, I'm stood at the door and I'm thinking, do I really want to get in here? Do I really need to be in here? Is this really a good idea going in here? You understand? Accept this. I want to say, as I go in there, I want to say that it must have been getting on, because I feel it's gone dark all of a sudden, or it's gone sort of to an afternoony time. Can we understand that? Tea time, like late visiting in between 5 and 7. Would that make sense to yourself? Thank you. I know Mum passed overnight, is what she's telling me, because I feel like you weren't actually there for your Mum's passing.
No, I switched the machine up on time 16.
I know, because I feel like you weren't there for Mum's passing. I feel you'd seen Mum prior,
Yeah.
but you weren't actually there for the decision that was made. Does that make sense? The showing us that. I want to say with Mum as well as a connection to, I feel like she's in a coma, and I've got a problem with my head. I feel like there's some kind of brain hemorrhage or some brain tumour.
Bang on.
That's where I get it from her, alright? And I want to say that Mum, I feel like we sort of, she'd been a little bit unwell prior. Mum tells me, I want to say that she hadn't been very well with a couple of days prior to that. And I feel like Mum also shows me a connection to where her sort of mouth was dropping a little bit. Yeah, because she showed me that. Let's see if I can get your memory. You would understand that as a child you never ever wanted to be singled out. You always just wanted to be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
And sometimes not everybody wanted to play with you. You understand that? She's talking about that. And your mum used to always say to you, not everybody's right for you. Not everything's right for you.
Yeah.
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
And she's saying that not everything is right for you sometimes. And not everybody's right for you as well.
No, I know that.
Alright? And I want to say for the memory, your mother took you to a fairground once in arcades.
Yeah.
Because I can see all the arcades and the lights flashing and the 2 pences are going in the slots like this. Yeah. Can I leave all that love with you? Thank you very much for your time. Give that lovely lady a round of applause.
So hi guys, it's Brigitte here, and I'm sitting here with the wonderfully talented Danielle the Happy Medium.
Thank you.
I saw you live yesterday on platform.
Yes, you did.
And now, being a spiritualist medium, what's the difference between a spiritualist medium and a psychic medium?
The difference between a spiritualist medium is the spiritualist medium will get their information from the spirit world or from your loved ones within the spiritual world. Psychic medium or a psychic is a person who will get the information through your energy or through your aura field. Spiritualist medium's information is more three-dimensional, so what you've seen on the platform last night where we did remote viewing and things like that. Psychic is very more one-dimensional, where it'll just be very box standard, one-word sort of answers or one-word information, so that's the difference.
Yeah, no, and when I saw you yesterday on platform, which was really unique for me, because often enough I will see spiritualist mediums or psychic mediums, and they will deliver a message, and they will give the evidence, describe the person, the character, you know, what they passed off. But you give that little bit of extra where you do the remote viewing. Literally, I was blown away because you can go to someone's house and describe exactly, you know, where they can find stuff. And the same with, you know, giving a memory.
I was taught that certain information is, you know, what we class as criteria. So criteria is, which is at the highest spectrum, which is what people did for a living, ages of which the people passed, door numbers, street names, them types of things are way classed as higher evidence. Things that are lower evidence are your descriptions of people. Everybody would see a grandma and think, oh well, grey hair, 5'3". You know, it's quite generalised. You know, our work, or what I was taught or learned, was is we're looking for 3 key pieces of information. So, say for example, when we're standing in the crowd, which was what I was doing last night, you would look for an age of that person, what they did for a living, and how they passed. So basically, you're going to be able to give them 3 major valid bits of information. People are going to, especially with cancer, you want to know whereabout with cancer. Cancer, you know, there's lots of different cancers. You know, mine was very much of, you know, it was pancreatic cancer or it was lung cancer. You would then be the person in the crowd, especially if you've got 4 or 5 people all sitting in a cluster, the person's going to go, I can take all 3 pieces of that information, and that's going to make it very valid or very precise or accurate for that person who is in the audience, if that makes sense. So that's the difference, and that's the difference between good evidence and bad evidence.
Mum's also here as well. There's also been a loss of child spirit as well, please.
Yeah, it's true.
Thank you. I want to say that connects to the family member, though not to yourself.
Yeah,
except for
my sister.
Thank you. Is it true to say that Dad drove for a living, please?
Yeah, true.
Thank you. I also want to say as well that Mum must have can you accept and understand that Mum would have worked on the railway, on the tube station, or there's a connection to the railway lines with Mum, please, cleaning them, things like this?
Yeah, she did.
Thank you, because I know that there's that linking in there. Also, Mum worked in a bar as well, because I'm getting a connection to barmaid. Thank you. I want to say there's a connection to Dad with heart as well, please. Can we understand and accept this? I'm being shown that there's a valve not working right here, please. Can we accept that? Thank you.
That was my mum.
Right, can you understand where one's talking to me about heart, where there's a connection to valve?
That was my mum.
Thank you. Because I just know that there's one that's talking to me about the valve, yeah? Can you understand that Dad had tachycardia, a regular heartbeat? The beat's not properly, it's not beat, 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 beat. Can you understand and accept that your father had a small heart attack and then had a major heart attack, please? Thank you. There was a minor one, because you're showing us that on the big P monitor, or the monitor that monitors them types of things. You want to stick your syrup pads out the put on? Yeah. Also, I want to say as well that there was a second heart attack, because he's talking about that as well. Would you understand that your dad had about 3 or 4, please?
Yes.
Thank you, because I know that there's a connection to just being a couple more there is what he shows me.
Yeah.
He tells me he worked extremely long hours, anything up to sometimes 12 hours all day, every day, 7 days a week. Would you understand that?
But even yesterday, sometimes you'll pick up pieces of a letter or a poem that's been written.
Yes. Again, that's also something that I was taught, that evidence is, you can bring a letter forward, but you need to know what's in that letter. So that validates that letter. You know, anybody can write, you know, what colour pen it was wrote in. You know, only the person who was writing that letter would know what colour the pen was wrote in, or a segment or sentence from that letter that would be specific to that person and their loved one. So it's valid, accurate, detailed evidence, which is what spiritualist mediums are meant to do. That's what we're here to do, prove that life continues after death.
And when did you have your first valid experience? I know it was as a kid.
I was 8-year-old when I became aware that I was involved with the spirit world, and the spirit world were looking to communicate. 14 was the first one when I became aware that my guide would shout my name in the evenings. The bedtime seemed to be a bit of an issue when I was a child. I didn't start working professionally with them until 4 years ago, due to the spirit world like you to have some life experience, like you to have some understanding of what the human life is capable of. But my first experience would have been probably when I was 8, but probably 14 when my guide was shout my name out. My first message I gave would have been maybe when I was about 18, but that was more through tarot or through psychic work more than it was through spiritual work. My first spiritual platform work was done about 3.5 years ago.
Really? Yeah. So where did you develop your abilities?
I developed mine, but a lot of people don't really like SNU churches and things like that, but I sat in a group for over a year working in a very small closed group through a SNU Spiritualist church here in the northeast of England, where I'm from, and was took under my wing by a mentor of an older medium, which is a lady who'd been working with the spirit world for nearly 45 years plus. I think experienced mediums are very valid. We don't have as many of them now. I was quite fortunate and quite lucky to find her, and she sort of gave me the basis, the skill set that I was looking for. Subsequently since then, obviously her basics are now not enough, and I've started to train a little bit more with more extensive tutors who were Arthur Findlay College students and tutors. So Arthur Findlay College I haven't been there myself, but I know it's very well renowned, and I know that some of the tutors in there are absolutely phenomenal, and the two that train me are very, very good. So, yeah.
I've been to the Arthur Findlay
College. I haven't been, but I've heard great things about it.
Well, the grounds are I mean, it's wonderful. The grounds are wonderful. When you walk in there, the energy is just completely different to the outside world.
Yeah, they say it's very good, and they say it's very exciting. I wouldn't know until I've been myself, so I can only go off what other people tell me. One day, hopefully, I'll go there and see for myself. But for now, I'm happy with where I am at the moment. And
so, do you tour a lot around the UK?
I tour all over. My first tour started this year, which was called Your Loved Ones, due to the fact that because of my Facebook page, people were asking me to see me more on a public demonstration sort of scenario. So we decided to do a small tour this year, which really covered the length and breadth of the country. More Scotland area this year. Next year we've got a tour coming in called When Heaven Calls, 2018, and I'm very excited. We are literally, you know, the length and breadth of the country. A lot of work more south this year, Belfast and things like that. And I've been asked to go out into Holland and do some work out in Holland and things. So yeah, there's certainly.
But they don't understand you, do they?
No, they don't. No, they say us in broad northerners with the northern accents and things. But you know, I think some of them, Europeans are hard wrecks. I understand, but you just take it as it comes in. It is what it is. People say I talk too fast, or I do this, I do that, and I think when it comes to a message, you know exactly what's meant to be said, and you know exactly how it's meant to be interpreted. And I think that's sometimes what we lose in spiritualism, is that, you know, we don't want to make too many box standard mediums. Every medium's unique in each and individual way. Everybody delivers a message in their own unique and wonderful way.
Yes.
As long as you know you've got your pointers and your basic information, or your good information, your accurate information, then you should never really try and change how a medium works or the way in which the medium is, because you can sort of ruin anything that is good about that medium. You know, not every medium's different, and everybody works different, every human's different, and I do believe in accurate evidence and detailed evidence.
Yeah, I know.
But always work it your way, always keep your fun side of it. Like me, I like a laugh and a giggle, so I always bring a little bit of humour in. Some people like to bring a little bit of tears in, so do that. You know, always work your mediumship for you. Don't ever get away from that. Always keep your mediumship about you, but bring that evidence in, bring that accurate evidence in, and as long as you do that, you'll never go far wrong. That would be my advice to anybody.
I said to her, what would you like to talk to your daughter about? She said, well, I'd like to say that I've been with her all her life, so I'm going to ask her for an example of that. Would you accept and understand that around and about your late 20s, please, you had an issue where you were about to be either evicted, or you were either looking to be put out because of the fact that there was some issues or problems around about you? Can you understand that?
Yeah.
Because I wanted an example of where she's been, how she's been around and about it. She's not going to tell me she's been around and about it. I want to know where she's been around and about it. Would you understand that there was somebody who took you in that wasn't exactly friend, but was an acquaintance?
Yes.
Your mum made sure that was put in place for you.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
She says she hears you every day. You talk to her every day, is what she tells me.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. You can also accept and understand with mum, you had a piece of glass or a cup of mum's. Would this be true?
I did.
Yeah, I know you did until you smashed it. Yeah, because you tried to sweep up every little bit so that you could put it back together, but you couldn't. Yeah.
So why do you call yourself the Happy Medium?
Because I'm always cheery.
It sticks. It
does.
Stick.
You know,
you know, I'm a great believer in the glass is half full, not half empty. If you're going to be constantly morbid and down and depressed, you're going to be that way, you know, because we are what we think. You know, I'm a very great believer in positive thinking. You know, the spirit world is all about the thought-based. It's all about, you know, mental mediumship, which is what I am, a mental medium. I'm not so much a physical mediumship's where, you know, your table tilt and, you know, things like that. But I'm a mental medium, and you know, it's very much about your positive mind frame, how you get through the day. Are you, you know, gonna let life kick your backside? Because life will kick your backside if you allow it to.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, it's kicked mine a few times, but there's lessons in there. And like I was speaking last night, you know, we're all down here learning. We are, you know, a spiritual being having human existence.
Right.
I think people forget that, you know, that's what you're doing down here, and you've got lessons to learn. And being positive it makes life a lot more easy. It's hard to keep that positivity going when life's kicking your backside. But if you can learn to, you know, reach for the best thought possible in that situation, it might not be the best situation for you to be in right now, but if you can find the best positive thought for that situation, nothing lasts forever. Nothing, the hard times never last forever. I mean, you know, when you come out of it, you look back and you think, wow, I've come a long way, do you know what I mean? And then you give yourself a pat on the back, and then the next lesson comes in and you start all over again.
I know, but you know, I always say we ask for these challenges. We ask for certain challenges before we
what we
come
call,
to this plane.
so you're talking about soul contracts.
Yeah.
Soul contracts is where we've made a contract with the spirit world before we even come here. Everything else is just sort of bystanding. Yes, I'd agree to soul contracts. We agree to, you know, how many children we're going to have, you know, this type of thing. I'm a great believer in soul contracts. I've read a book about soul contracts, a very, very detailed book as well, and I do agree that, you know, there is some belief in that. Have I spoken to my guides about soul contracts? Yes, I have. Do they agree with that? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They do agree. Not everything is set in stone, because we still have free will down here on the earth plane, but there is some things that are set in stone that you have to accomplish, i.e. life lessons, in order for your soul to progress, learn, understand, and take that information back to the spirit world. So yes, I would agree with that, yes.
Now, how do you, and this is a question I ask quite a lot actually, there are a lot of people that have that victim mentality. What do you say to them?
That again, that's your free will. That's your choice. You choose to be that victim personality or victim, you know, hard done to me, you know, poor me, X, Y, and Z. That is a human trait. That's something that you choose to be. Nobody makes you that way. You make yourself that way. A lot of victims will not accept that, but that is just the way in which that you are, and that's just the way. And that is, if that's the way you want to be, nobody's going to change that. Nobody can change your life but you. Nobody's in control of your life but you. No one's in control of your energy but you. And everything you do, every action, every consequence has a dictation or a part of you in amongst all of that. Nobody is without blame in anything that they do. An action causes a reaction. A reaction causes an action. Everything's positive, negative, push, pull. And that's exactly how it is. Victims will always think that they're victims unless they change their mindset. A lot of people say, oh, well, I've got a bad past. There's a lot of people in this world who have a bad past.
I know.
And yet there's some of them out there, i.e., you know, certain celebrities who've come on and have done great things from very violent, very abusive backgrounds.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily always agree with that. I think it's about the mindset, which is what we've just been talking about, how you portray yourself and how you want to be and where you want to be. And if you truly want to be somewhere, nobody can stop you unless the only person stopping you is you.
Yeah, I totally agree.
That's how I look at things anyway.
Something you mentioned yesterday as well, you know, standing in your own power.
Yes.
True I am. I very much believe that once you take back your power, and you stand in your true I am, you know, you can do anything.
I agree.
But I also think, you know, that we're here to reawaken.
Yes. I would agree. I think everybody awakens at some point. Some people just choose either to run that awakening more than others. Some people choose to awaken to an extent and then just leave it at that. That's enough. Yeah. It scares some people too much and they don't want to walk that path, and that's absolutely fine. People say to me, has everybody got the ability to work with the spirit world? Yes, is my answer to that. Does everybody have the ability to be a full-blown medium? No. Everybody has the ability to do some particular task for the spirit world, and that doesn't mean to say that you've got to be a medium. You could be a healer, you could be, you know, a psychic, you could be just sort of automatic writing, you could be doing whatever it is that they've assigned the task. You could just be somebody's earth angel, and help other people, you know, that type of thing. It doesn't have to be so spiritual, so, you know, magnificent in the fact that you've got to be full-blown medium. And I think people forget that the tasks in which that spirit set for you can be as small as that. They don't have to be as big is the tasks in which that I have for the spirit world. So I tend to agree massively with, you know, making sure that you just be the best you can be each and every day.
Yeah, that's very true. Now, why did you decide to do this kind of work?
My background is in mental health and has been for many, many years, and nursing, not only the elderly but also childhood behaviour. I made the job in which I did was a very well-paid job. It wasn't a decision I took very lightly, but I found that it was sort of not a calling as such. It was just that I felt that my life path had changed from that I'd done for 20 plus years. It changed from that to that, and I felt that there was an opportunity for me to help more than just the people that I was helping in the corporate sort of end of it, because I find sometimes, you know, that sort of lifestyle or that sort of help is very corporate. It's very restricted. It's very red taped, as I would call it, and I just felt this way I could help a lot more in a much better way. So that was why that's why I left my well-paid job to do the job. I love my work. It's fantastic. It's got to be one of the best jobs in the world for me anyway. I love it, mate. I love it.
But it helps. It helps people move forward with their lives. A
lot of people ask me that question. Well, how can talking to a medium help somebody move forward? And it's not so much. We're not assigned counsellors, mediums. A lot of people seem to think that we're assigned counsellors, you know, and I don't have any doctorate skills or anything. I don't have any degrees and that type of thing. But I think sometimes, you know, people just having the reassurance through accurate evidence, you know, through things that there's just no possible way that we could know type of thing, makes it an experience for them, makes them very aware that their loved ones are safe and secure in the spirit world, and that there's no issues or problems there, if that makes sense. A lot of people don't get an opportunity to say goodbye or don't get an opportunity to say the things that they wanted to say, and I think sometimes people need that sort of opportunity to speak again with them people, even if they're not there, if that makes sense, or they're not there in the physical body, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So people can get closure. Yeah,
closure is a big thing for people. People, as long as people can get closure and can sort of move forward, they feel that that's enough for them. And it's about your experience of when you go for a sitting with a medium, is what you're looking for, what you're expecting. Some people come with expectation of a lot more and sometimes can come away disappointed because of that. My advice is always be as open-minded as possible when you come to see a medium. You know, try to accept everything that's given to you and try to work with that medium as much as possible, not giving them any sort of information, of course, but, you know, just yeses and nos is enough. And I tend to find that that's a helpful way of working with the medium and also trying to get the best possible experience for you as well. So, yeah.
Have you ever asked your spirit guide what the other side is like?
Yes.
And what have they said?
They show me something that is very similar to the human world. Just the fact that there isn't buildings in the spiritual world, but everything's very much basically it's the human world but without the buildings. So you have a lot more fields up there, a lot more trees up there, a lot more nature in that respect. There's a lot of bridges, you know, that type of thing, because there's different levels and different things that the spirit world work on. But that is how they portray it to me. It's always very warm in the spirit world, I find. It's always very, when I go there, I always feel very safe. I always feel secure. I don't feel there's anything to worry about when I go to the spirit world. So it's sort of my safe place. A lot of people say to me, Earth's like hell. Well, I tend to agree with that, because it's really tough going down here. It's with the life lessons and other things and stuff. Where when you go to the spirit world, it's like everything's just like, it's like take a break day. Do you know what I mean? It's like take a break, take a load off, put your feet up, have five. That's how it is. But I find the spirit world, or what I've been shown of the spirit world from my guides, is it's just a very open space, but without the buildings, and a lot more greenery, flowers, pretty colours are very popular up there in the spirit world, and they work a lot with them types of things, colours and stuff. It's
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
But you have the Akashic holes and the holes of learning as well.
Yes, the Akashic records are something that is connected to your life. That's what it is. It's a detailed, it documents more or less everything that you do here on the earth plane, and then goes back with you towards the spirit world when you're finished and done, so that you can discuss with your soul contract whether or not you've completed the tasks in which that you have been set by the spirit world. So basically what it does is it goes back to you with the spirit world. They discuss it alongside with your guides, your loved ones, the, you know, other people of the spirit world, spirit council. I don't know if you've heard of the spirit council. I've actually seen the spirit council. I've had experiences of the spirit council. And what happens is that they will then discuss and then make a decision with you as to whether or not you're going to stay in the spirit world or whether you're going to come back down here onto the earth and learn again. People talk to me about reincarnation. I don't tend to agree that all the soul is reincarnated. I believe some of it's reincarnated. I believe certain souls are picked by the spirit council or the spirit world to come back here onto the earth plane and continue to do the lessons in which that are meant of them here. And some people will continue to learn within the spirit world, and the spirit world allow that. But I do feel the Akashic records are a very important thing. Nobody's actually seen these. I don't think anybody's actually... I haven't actually seen my own, I'll be honest with you on that one. I know a lot of people say that they're there, and I haven't actually seen them myself. Probably when I go back to the spirit world I might see them, but I haven't actually seen my documentation of my own as of yet, if that makes sense. People say you can access them and stuff like that. I'm not too sure about that one. I've got to be honest with you. I don't know how you can access something that isn't completed.
Right.
Does that make sense? How can you access something that isn't completed, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that's true.
Because Akashic records are locked and kept locked until you go back towards the spirit world.
Yeah, that makes
so
sense.
People say that you can access them and you can look into them and you can do this. Well, I would have said, well, how can you when they're not complete? That's just my personal thoughts and feelings on that one. I don't personally think that they can be accessed. I think they're only accessed once you go back towards the spirit world.
What's your take on animals? Animals have souls?
Oh, yes. I did some pet readings on my page. You should check them out. Where people sent their photographs in, and I picked up on their animals and give them validations around the time of passed and how they passed, the way in which they passed. I've actually got some old emails of pet readings that I've done for free. I didn't charge for these. Just to see, you know, if people could relate and understand them. Yes, 99.9% if it could all relate. Probably maybe 2 or 3 pieces, but yes, it was all more or less they could take over. Do I believe that animals have souls? Yes. Do I believe that animals feel pain just like humans? Yes. Do I believe that you can communicate with your animals through thought pattern? Yes. Do I think you know exactly what they're thinking all the time? No. But do I think that if you were to say to your dog, you know, it's like if you get your finger and you look at your finger for long enough and you tell it it hurts, eventually that finger starts to hurt because the thought pattern has been pushed like that. So what you do with an animal is if you say to your dog, well, what's the matter? What's the matter? Tell me what's the matter. We've got it. What's the matter? Eventually you probably through that thought pattern and saying that you're going to say, we've got a bad belly. And more or less subconsciously, even though you haven't realised that they've said, well, I've got a bit of an upset stomach, or my leg's hurting, or, you know, I'm just feeling a bit flat today. Do you know what I mean? Because that's, I tend to find sometimes when I'm talking with people, and I'm asking them, you know, what's wrong, and they say, no, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing wrong. And this isn't even on a mediumship link, this is just on a human based link. You then, it runs across, you're like, think to yourself, oh, they're feeling a bit down today. That's why they're not themselves. You know, and that's just sort of just thought based because you're asking, so the subconscious or the thought related around them is giving that information back to you, and it's just sort of listening to what they're saying through thought related issues, not through anything else other than that. Wow. So I do believe in animals can talk. I do believe not through like actually yapping, but through thought related patterns. Yes, I definitely do agree with that massively.
Okay, so now what's next for you?
What's next for me? My tour's coming in next year, which is obviously When Heaven Calls 2018.
We're nearly there.
Yes, we certainly are. I've got more training to come in next year. I'm going to try and have not so much a quieter year, but a lot more efficient year would be the word. The last 3 years have been very manic for me. It's been very all over. We've got a book coming out next year at the back end of 2018, which is a sort of spiritual sort of training alongside sort of the start of an autobiography. Probably the autobiography won't be ready probably until my later 50s due to the fact that I don't feel I've done enough life lessons down here in order to write in that book. There's a lot going on in my 20s and my 30s, but I just feel as if I'd like a little bit more before I write an autobiography. And I only want to have one. I don't want any more than one. So yeah, there's a lot of good things coming in next year. we'll have to see what Spirit's got in store for me.
And do you teach?
Not yet, but I'd love to. People's always asking me to teach, and I'm like, I teach on my page, you know, I do sort of small meditations, you know, I give advice, I talk about the spirit world, I give people an understanding of what's going on. I find the lack of knowledge is massive out there, and I think contradictory knowledge is also massive out there. I think some people are saying one thing, some people are saying other things, and then people get very, very confused and they don't really know what's. My advice, always go with what feels best with you. If it relates to you, you can understand it, you get it, stick with it. If it doesn't sit right with you, it doesn't feel right, then it probably isn't right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the way I look at it.
When someone has abilities and they're not sure what to do, like what are the telltale signs that you have an ability?
Abilities, my telltale signs for abilities are people who come to me and ask me about, so they start saying that they're seeing faces when they shut their eyes. That tends to be one. They start hearing people shouting out their name, or they're starting to hear, you know, voices and things that aren't yours. I always say check the physical before you check the spiritual.
Right.
A lot of people jump on the spiritual bandwagon and go, my God, I've got, you know, interference through spiritualism. When 9 times out of 10, you've just got something going on the physical side of life. If you can rule out everything on the physical side of life, then we need to start looking at the spiritual. So then you'll be looking at people shouting out your name, you're hearing names, you're hearing people talking in your head, making sure you've obviously ruled out all the physical applications there. Obviously, then you're going to start and see people. If you're seeing people, then you're probably going to feel a presence around about you. You're going to know somebody's there. I know from me working, you just know somebody's there. You just know something's not quite right. I always say you always feel a bit different when you're spiritual. You don't feel you quite belong here. Does that make sense to you? There's like a longing for somewhere else, but it's not here, if that makes sense. It's as if it's you belong somewhere else. Like you feel you've been adopted, but really you aren't adopted. You're really with the real mum and dad, but you feel like that way, because that's how I used to feel as a child. I used to feel I was adopted, but really my mum and dad were my mum and dad. But I just knew I didn't belong with that family. Like I knew I belonged somewhere else, and it was the strangest thing. But there'll be some of the things. You start smelling cigarette smoke, you start seeing things, you start, you know, picking up that type of thing. There would be some of my telltale signs that would lead me to believe that somebody was a spiritualist or a psychic. Remember, there's a massive difference between psychics and mediums.
That's right.
Remember that. People get very confused when they come to see me. Psychics read energy, they foretell the future. Spiritualist mediums or mediums do not foretell the future. So always remember that. People forget that a lot of the time. Your loved ones that went over to the spirit world do not have magical powers.
Oh, I should hope not.
But do you understand what I mean? People come to say mediums and think that mediums or their loved ones have got magical powers now that because they've got in the spirit world. Unless your mum is a psychic here on the earth plane, then they are not going to foretell the future for you. They are going to bring forward evidence to support the passing or support their lifestyle here on the earth plane. They will give advice, but it's up to you as to whether you give that advice or not. Mum and dad's down here to never run your life. Did your mum and dad run your life for you?
No.
No, my mum and dad certainly don't run mine. So why would they want to run your life in the spiritual world for? Does that make sense? They will offer advice. They will say, well, you know, you should maybe try and get a new job, or if you're not happy with that job, leave that job and look for a new job. But that's about all. They're not going to tell you where that new job's going to come in, or who your new boss is going to be, or, you know, your new husband's going to be called X, Y, and Z, because they don't have that knowledge. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's that.
Now, before I finish the interview, are there any last words of advice that you have for people?
My advice to people here on the earth plane is always be true to you. Never change you for anybody, but always try to be an improvement to yourself. That would be my advice to people. And always forgive and forget, and always be loving to yourself and to people who love you.